I'm a little nervous, sorry.
All right.
I'll start with the first question since I'm kind of out of breath. So I've had some experiences when talking with my husband and talking to a few other people about non-physical or that type of subject. And when that happens, if the conversation is going really well, I get extremely out of breath, like now, or I get where I'm kind of fidgety and I almost kind of can't control. It's kind of hard to explain, but that's the gist of it. And so I'm just kind of wondering, and it feels good. It's not a bad feeling, but I'm just wondering, why that happens and why sometimes it doesn't happen.
There's something really important that is at the basis of this. As you are in your physical body, you are an extension of source energy. Everyone who has ever been physically focused has reemerged into non-physical, is still forward-looking with all of you. So while most people are completely unaware, because it is a subtle tuning that you have to accomplish in order to be aware, non-physical consciousness is focused forward with you. So as you're having these conscious conversations about things that this non-physical energy is aware of and wants you to be aware of and likes that you are aware of, then you're beginning to receive their awareness. Now, it takes a little while for you to become accustomed to that steady flow. In the beginning, as Esther was receiving us, there was a lot of fidgeting, a lot of nervous moving around because her physical apparatus was just not quite up to speed with the energy that we were. But it's so helpful to understand that you can't be in your physical body and be having a conversation about someone you know who has reemerged back into non-physical without calling their attention forward to you. And to the degree that you are allowing it, you can receive their feelings, and it's always a feeling of awareness and appreciation and interest. That's the thing that we most want you to understand. Keen interest in what you're about. And the reason that we want to emphasize that, because most of our physical friends don't really get that. You don't realize how this is where it's all happening. This leading edge is the furthest culmination of source energy manifestation. So, of course, everything that's non-physical is eager and interested in what you're discussing and what you're discovering and what you are creating, you see. Helpful?
Very.
If you can just relax in the knowledge of what it is. And you said something very important. You said it feels good, which means these are impulses that are coming from this vortex that we've been talking about all morning here. And so if you can just consciously, don't get too heady about it, because you can't really be in the asking mode and the receiving mode at the same time. But just relax, and it is helpful if in that relaxation you just acknowledge, I am aware and I am willing and I am happy and I am eager to receive your impulses of thought. You're going to like it.
Okay.
What else?
So the other question is for my husband. Several years ago, he had an experience, and I think he kept it to himself for a little while. And then eventually he told me he was very put off by it, kind of scared by it. So sort of some different instances, like he's seen kind of like a vision of something before it's happened. And since then it's happened several times. But the main thing for him was that he was hearing like a voice. I imagine the way Esther kind of translates you or somewhere along that lines. But he can't do it all the time. He can sometimes call on it and it's there, and other times he's like, well, I just don't get anything.
As he understands, or as any of you do, that receptive mode is what you are about. Source energy is broadcasting to you all the time, all of the time. Whether you're receiving it or not is the question. And whether you're in the receptive mode is the answer about whether you're receiving or not. And so, you see what we're getting at? Esther said to someone the other day, this non-physical translation is subtle because it's a very high, pure frequency. So you got to be tuned to it. And the more you are tuned to it and the more you receive it and are consciously aware that you are receiving it, then the more trusting you become, and then the easier that it is. The thing that you want to convey is, again, something that we've been talking about quite a bit already here this morning. And that is, you can be in the receiving mode of a lot of different things, just like your radio receiver in your vehicle. There are stations broadcasting on a lot of different frequencies, but you adjust your tuner in order to match up to those frequencies. And so you can be in the receiving mode of things that are of a physical nature, of thoughts even that people around you are having. Have you ever walked into a room and sort of felt what they were discussing, or had a sort of sense that maybe you didn't belong there, and so you just turned right around and walked right out? You can be in the receiving mode because there are a lot of things that are being broadcast to receive. But the more you tune yourself to the higher frequencies, and again, the only way that you can tune yourself to higher frequencies is to stop tuning yourself to lower frequencies. When you stop doing that thing you're doing that is tuning you and training you to the lower frequencies, then your vibration rises. It's like your cork is bobbing on the surface of the water. That's tuned in, tapped in, turned on. Hold it under the water. That's what negative emotion is. When you hold your cork under the water, that's what negative emotion is, and that's what receiving from less than non-physical energy is. But when you let go of it, it will bob right back up there to the surface. And the thing that is most important for those like you and your husband who know that you are receiving, the most important thing for you to understand is, where's my frequency? Because that helps me know from where whatever I'm receiving is coming from. Haven't you noticed in yourself, haven't you ever gotten off on an uncomfortable conversation about something, and you stayed there? Maybe you were bored, and you stayed there, and then it got more, and then it got more, and then you begin remembering things like it that aren't even happening now. And then you get an impulse to call someone, and they're talking about it too. Momentum is momentum, and whatever it is that you're talking about is what you're coming to. So whatever is active in your vibration is what you're likely to receive. It's like you learn how to read, and then you can go to a bookstore or a library, and there are a lot of things that you could take off the shelf and you could read. But just because you can read it doesn't mean you want to. And this vibrational receiving and interpreting is the same thing. That's why meditating prepares you for that higher frequency, which is what you want to receive. Sometimes when energies are moving in a very powerful way, you can pick up on them. That's what empathetic is. And we were talking a little bit earlier about empathy to what others want from you or need from you. And this really ties in so importantly with that conversation too. If you have trained yourself to be empathetic and responsive to what others need, then you're less likely to be hearing the tuning from your source broadcasting. You see what we're getting at? And there are rivers and streams of things that are being broadcast. We'll give you an example. Some years ago, we were visiting with a woman. She sat in the hot seat and she said, I've been driving across the Bay Bridges in California for years. I've lived here a long time and never had a problem with it. And lately I'm having panic attacks when I'm on the bridge. I want to lay on the floor of my car. What's happened to me? And we said, well, there had been an earthquake or two, and some of the bridges in the area had recently fallen. And so there's some logic to that. But we said, we think you're picking up thought forms. Well, she didn't like the sound of that. Thought forms, that sounds like assertion, which it isn't. We said, you're picking up thought forms. The question is why? What's going on with you that has got something active in you that's making you now the receiver of those kinds of thoughts? She knew right away. She said, my neighbor was burglarized. And so we've been getting together, the neighborhood, trying to decide if we're going to put bars up on our windows, or if we're going to put a gate around our community, or if we're going to get a night watchman to watch out for us. And so something not related to the bridge, but something very personal to her, had caused her to feel vulnerable. And now she's got a new activation of vulnerability. And now she's going across a bridge where others in the area are feeling uncomfortable about going across the bridge because of the recent falling of the bridge. And so it made perfect sense to her. Is this making sense to you? The question that you want to ask when you feel any emotion, especially a strong one, is, where's this coming from? In other words, first of all, does it feel good or bad? If it feels good, then it's a vibration that's likely coming from non-physical, from this pure positive energy from your vortex. But if it doesn't feel good, then you've got something activated and it's causing you to pick up vibrations from around you. And this is why so many people In fact, most people think it's necessary to try to control circumstances around you because they don't know that they could control the way they receive. They don't realize that they could use a little discipline or a little deliberate focus, and that they could tune themselves to vibrations that only give them access to things that feel good, not just thoughts, not just vibrations turning to thoughts, but thoughts turning to things. You can clarify your own personal vibration to the point that you just zig and zag through things that maybe others are living that are unpleasant. You don't need to. Most people are living very conditional lives, which means they see something, they have an opinion about it, they offer their opinion about it, they establish a stronger vibration about it, and then they get more and more and more of the same. And they just accept that some things feel good and some things feel bad, and I just can't do anything about it. And we say, yes, you can. It's true. Life is going to come at you based upon what your current point of attraction is. But you can clarify that by meditating every day until you've diluted it, until you've watered down the negative with more and more that feels good. And then off you go. Helpful?
Very.
Anything more?
Just one more quick one. So both my husband and I meditate often. He does more than I do because we have a son, and I'm primarily with my son.
Blah, 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 blah.
Anyways,
blah.
But so
15 minutes. 15 minutes.
Yeah.
15 minutes. 15 minutes. Don't make excuse.
Okay.
15 minutes. Every day.
So with that being said, does it matter if we do a guided meditation or if we just sit quietly without anything? Is one better than the other?
Really, really good question. So here we go. Let's say you're feeling wonderful and you sit to meditate. Then it's very likely that almost as soon as you sit to meditate, you're going to start to receive impulses of things that feel really good to you. And a guided meditation under those conditions is very helpful because it will just activate and reinforce more momentum in the vibration. Let us start in another place. This will answer your question even more fully. You're going to like this. It's going to cause a lot of what you've heard already today to sort of fit together in a more meaningful way for you. So one of the things that makes negative thought more attractive to humans than pure positive thought is that often in the negative thought, there's more momentum. So it's meatier, it's chewier, there's more to see and hear and smell and taste and touch. In other words, it feels like a fuller experience. Where what we're asking you to do is really asking quite a lot of you. We're asking you to sort of withdraw from all of that active life just for 15 minutes and quiet your mind, which means when you quiet your mind, you stop thought. And once you accomplish that, there's almost no momentum. So as you start receiving and you feel some of that soft satisfaction, there's a little momentum, and as you stay there for a few seconds, really 16 or 17 is enough, then that vibration is going to pick up more speed. And as you stay there for another 16 or 17 seconds, that vibration is going to pick up more speed. So now you're going from no momentum to a little more, a little more, a little more, a little more. And if you're able to keep that up without introducing negative contradictory thought to it, that state of meditation, the momentum will become enough that then the vibration will turn to a thought impulse, and then you'll know you're off and running. Once the impulses start coming, which is often at the end of the 15 minutes, but for those like you have been meditating for a while, it could come within the first 30 seconds. It doesn't take Esther any time at all to get there. Once you get there, then pondering things that are flowing into your mind is a very good idea, because then that momentum becomes more and more and more and more and more and more. We're not trying to slow the momentum of you down. We're trying to help you purify the momentum, because even though you don't know it, it is our promise to you that faster momentum about what you don't want is not better than no momentum that is pure and positive. But you don't have to choose fast momentum and no momentum. You have the ability to take that slower momentum into faster and faster and faster, and guided meditation is a way to do that. We really think that if you can quiet your mind first before you go into some sort of a guided meditation, you'll have greater success. Only because most of you, we love you so much, have got some sort of negative stuff going on when you sit to meditate.